Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki and Sean and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 32, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and I'm joined by Brian Hall.
Hello.
And I think joining us for this episode, Brian, I believe, could be, I'm not entirely sure, he might be here. It's
really?
Rumor is on the street that we are joined by none other than Droopy. I mean, Sean Coyle.
You knew what? And that was the sound of me running, by the way.
Sean, where you been, man?
Hey, guys! Thanks for slowing down. I've been chasing you around for 3 episodes.
Well, why didn't you just say something? We would have turned around.
No
we would have
time,
offered
Brian.
you encouragement or
Yes.
water of some
Well,
kind.
we're happy you're here now.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, the tripod is complete.
3 episodes you missed, which is the longest spell you've been gone, I believe.
Yeah. You know, it's been a transitional phase in the life of Sean.
Oh.
For those that are interested, I broke away from the role of editor. I've been an editor in animation for, like 8 years, something like that now.
Wow.
And, just decided I'd kind of didn't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, the company that I'm working for gave me some opportunities to do some, like character designing and some storyboarding, and it's been fun getting a little more artsy in the animation world. So
Can you talk about some of the stuff you're working on?
Well, I finished up a show called The Awesomes, which is on Hulu. Mm-hmm. It's by Seth Meyers and Michael Shoemaker, who are Seth Meyers. Shoemaker is a writer for SNL, and Seth Meyers is obviously the guy who does Weekend Update, and he's the head writer for Saturday Night Live.
Future host of Late Night.
Right.
Yes, future host of Late Night. So it's their animated superhero adult comedy that they're doing for Hulu, which is a huge success for in terms of internet downloads, and I don't know how they measure stuff with Netflix and Hulu and iTunes and things like that, but it's a huge hit for them. And I got to finish up the season and work on some character concepts for season 2.
That's cool stuff, man.
It's been pretty cool.
And for those who don't know, Sean is an excellent artist.
Hey, thanks,
so
Brian.
This is very fitting. This is really cool that you're being able to exercise this muscle here.
It's a perfect gig for you.
Yeah.
Sean, usually whenever you're on, we start off with Sean's shows, where you tell us new TV programs you've been watching. So what's new in the hopper for you with Sean's shows?
And I do all my TV watching on the hopper, so that's that is to say the toilet. Well, Zaki, as many of our devoted fans have probably gathered, let's see, we don't get HBO, we don't get Showtime, I have a kid, rarely get to new movies, so pretty much we do all of our catching up via Netflix or iTunes or whatever VOD service is available. So I just finished Homeland Season 2. I know they're just starting Season 3. But Homeland Season 2. Now, Brian has seen it. Zaki has not. Correct?
I have not.
Correct.
Well, here's what I think about Season 2 of Homeland. Without trying to get into spoilers, but you know how with 24... and we can draw the comparisons between 24 and Homeland because it's the same showrunners and writers and things like that. So,
right.
But basically, the Jack Bauer, the Kiefer Sutherland character of Jack Bauer, and the Claire Danes character of Carrie, I don't even know her last name because she sucks.
Let's just say Bradshaw.
Carrie Bradshaw. Now, both of them, they're the same character in the sense that they are sort of the, heroic, takes the law into their own hands to get results kind of character. But when Jack Bauer is like, screw you, Mr. President, I'm going to do it my way and I'm going to get results. You're like, hell yeah, Jack Bauer. He's going to go F some shiz up and, do it his way. And some guy's going to get stabbed in the kneecap with a pen. And,
Yeah.
But it's Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer does what he wants and usually gets the results he's looking for. But when the Claire Danes character, when they're like, Carrie, don't go into that dark building and screw up our surveillance. She's like, furrowed brow, no, I'm going in there. And it's just like, oh, you're so stupid. But it's not just like one time. It's like every single time throughout season 2 when they tell her, no, Carrie, you're going to screw up the mission if you go in there. She's like, I don't care. I've got to go check on Brody. It's like, you're going to screw it up. You're just f***ing everything up. We're going to have to bleep this, but you're f***ing everything up, stupid woman. God.
Okay. So we will be bleeping that, yeah.
Well, now, is that what's sort of interesting about the show? And I'm being devil's advocate here, not saying my position on it, but where Jack Bauer is sort of this renegade, and he really he doesn't follow the rules, but he gets results, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. Like, he's a lone wolf, and he's good at it. But she is someone who has a lot of mental issues, and she can get distracted, and she's like, these are limitations for her that make her like, she's a brilliant person, but she has these things that hold her back that she can't help. So does that make her an interesting character, or you just think that makes her like an annoying character?
Well, in season 1, it made her an interesting character because I like how they handled her, I guess, disability, you want to call it.
Yeah.
Her what she has to deal with. But in season 2, I don't know. It's like none of that stuff mattered, and I think, like, if you want to draw the Jack Bauer comparison again, like, Jack Bauer wouldn't even do the kinds of things she's doing. Like, He would be one of the guys who'd be like, no, seriously, like, don't go in there.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just part of 24 was the same way too, where it's like there's also this element where you have to suspend disbelief and just believe that everybody working in the intelligence agency is just a total moron because of all the stuff that goes wrong.
And how many moles they hire?
Exactly. And Homeland has a lot of that too, but which makes, you got to do that kind of stuff for dramatic effect. But I don't know, man, like I think they really, really lost their way. And there's this whole like love story sort of side story, which just, it just, everything became very muddled and it sort of lost track of what kind of show it wanted to be.
Well, that's what we were saying earlier. The first season, knowing it was from the 24 creators, you had these expectations and they sort of subverted them, where this show, instead of being this bonkers action thriller second show, it was this really intense slow burn that took the whole season to sort of come to a head. But it was so interesting and you were so curious what was going to happen that you couldn't help but keep tuning in. But then the second season, it just sort of threw all that out the window. Whether that's good or bad, that's up to the viewer. But it went for twists and turns and things that were sort of out of character for what they set up for first season. And maybe they needed to do that because, I mean, this is a really complicated plot. Like, how do you keep going for several seasons with this plot? I don't know.
And to their credit, as frustrated as I was with season 2, the season 2 cliffhanger, how it ends, you're like, crap, well, they got my money for season 3 now. Stupid bastards.
But I'll be angry when I give them my money. Wait, you're ordering them like as they air on Apple or something?
Yeah, we've just been buying season passes on iTunes, watching them that way. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
I won't be watching season 3 until next year sometime.
Oh, I see.
So get ready, America.
Sean,
my review's coming.
Did you watch Breaking Bad, Sean?
No, but the soup ruined the very last shot of the finale for me.
Oh.
Because they were making fun of Billy Bush and Access Hollywood, who was also... He was basically jerking off while watching the last scene of Breaking Bad because he loved the show so much.
See, Sean, that's very disappointing for me because...
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I am a huge fan of the show, or was a huge fan of the show, and I would have loved for you to have gotten around to it someday. Because, I think a lot of people feel when they miss a show they're like, oh, well, I'll never catch it because it feels sort of like an obligation. They're like, when am I going to be able to put in the time to do the homework for this thing? And I always say, if you feel that about a show, then you certainly shouldn't watch it. But I mean, if a show is good, I mean, that's why we watch television, I think, to be entertained by something that captures our imagination and that we want to continue seeing stories from that universe. And I think Breaking Bad it was an excellent show. And I think 10 years from now, people who have been putting it off could still put it in and get something out of it. So it shouldn't feel like homework if it's good.
Yeah.
Well, but
I do like that song
stuff.
I like that Badfinger song they use.
At the end.
Nice touch.
One thing that I'll say, Brian, is that when the show ended, I was just like, it was perfect. It was just a perfect ending.
I don't think we're going to get into spoilers.
No.
I don't feel like we need to even. But being a fan of the show, I mean, this was such an interesting show where it was really character driven, but it also did have lots of twists and turns and intrigue and comedy and just and horror, all sorts of these elements, and it all came to a head. And I really don't know how they could have ended it more perfectly than they did. I mean, they just wrapped it up so tight. Yeah, and I think, and not only that, but in a satisfying way too.
Yeah, well, I've been telling people that if you haven't seen it, you've got a show waiting for you that is just rock solid from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Sean, like for you guys, it's like the ending, but you're going to enjoy the journey.
The journey, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad was more fun. At least thus far, Breaking Bad was more fun.
But what was interesting about it too was I don't remember which season. I've been reading this places, but the show was almost canceled at one point because the ratings were so low.
Yeah.
And then having it appear on Netflix and people being able to binge watch it and catch up, which is what I did.
Yeah.
And I caught up with it, and then I started watching it live. I think around season 4 or something. Well, it must have been 4 if this was 5. And so anyway, I guess when 4 debuted, it had say like 2 million viewers, or maybe even less. And then when season 5 debuted, it had like 3 or blah blah blah. Anyway, it ended with almost 11 million viewers.
Yeah, the finale.
The finale. So I mean, talk about a new era of watching entertainment. I mean, that's pretty interesting. I mean, Netflix certainly had a huge hand in that happening.
Netflix has redefined TV viewing.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Netflix.
All right, so we've got more TV stuff
MovieFilm,
to talk
episode
about.
32, brought to you by Netflix.
That's right. We've got more TV talk coming, so we'll put a pin in that. As we do each and every week, we try to start things off with some listener letters. So,
Wait, can I throw one thing out at the beginning of the episode here real quick? I feel like I don't want to... This was like a nice little thing, and I didn't want to throw it away at the end. But I was asked to be a guest on another podcast called Comedy on Vinyl.
Traitor.
And, hosted by Jason Klom, and that just went live on iTunes. So if you want to check that out, Comedy on Vinyl, basically he brings people on to talk about their favorite comedy albums. And, I had some, but I didn't feel like they were certainly important. Like, they weren't like Richard Pryor records or Steve Martin records or anything. And I just, as we know on this show, I'm a huge fan of The Simpsons. And so we used Simpsons Sing the Blues as an entryway to talk about The Simpsons for about an hour.
Nice.
And it was a really good time, and it was really awesome that they asked me to come on, and I wanted to pimp that here at the beginning here. So Comedy on Vinyl, check it out on iTunes, and hopefully have some fun with it.
Well, I love having you do other podcasts as long as this is your home.
Oh yeah, and I pimp MovieFilm on there, so
good man.
And just knowing us, and we've been friends for such a long time, and how in tune we are with our Simpsons-isms, we could probably just predict. We just guess what you're going to talk about already.
Oh yeah, well I
already know the shows you're gonna the episodes you reference.
Yeah.
All right,
anyway,
so I don't have to listen to his podcast. That's what I'm saying.
Before Brian so rudely interrupted,
just kidding,
promoting himself, I was going to segue into some letters.
Product.
So here we go. This first letter And yes, you should be. This was received by both of these letters were received at our email address, moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. So if you have any questions or comments, send them there. This is from Kendra. She says, "Hi guys, loved hearing you talk about Jaws."
Kendra.
Hey, Kendra.
Thank you. Like most people, I'm a big fan of the first one, and like most people, not so much the sequels. Would love to hear your take on them, on the Jaws sequels. So last time, Brian, you mentioned how you had showed Jaws to a couple of your friends, and they had seen it for the first time, and we kind of started riffing on Jaws a little bit. And, we didn't really talk about...
which, by the way, I was like, who the hell are all these other people you're watching movies with? But go on.
Well, you know these people.
There's Brian on the episode like, yeah, I've got these friends who've never seen Jaws. I'm like, what the hell?
They're Shane and Ziggy,
I've seen
other
Jaws,
friends.
Brian. I've seen it.
So the Jaws sequels, what do you guys think of them?
I'll start because I have not seen any of them.
Really?
No, never seen any of the Jaws sequels.
They're
Really?
ridiculous. Well, 3 and 4 are ridiculous.
2 is actually not bad. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
2's like,
I think you said that. Yeah. Well, and what's coming out in 2015? Jaws, whatever, and Back to the Future 2.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Jaws in 3D. Wasn't it just Jaws? No,
Jaws 3D, which isn't that kind of
5D.
scarily
Was it?
accurate?
Wait, what the hell?
What?
What was it in Back to the Future? Jaws?
it was a
Was
number.
it a number? We could talk about this
I'll
all
look it up.
day.
You guys keep going because I haven't seen any of these films, so I've got nothing to catch.
Okay, well, I'll
Well, Jaws 4,
Yeah.
Jaws
Sorry,
the
Kendra.
Revenge, has Mario Van Peebles in it.
that does, and Michael Caine,
Yes.
who was
And Michael Caine.
who could not
But
accept
also Mario Van Peebles.
he could
Oh,
not
it's-
accept his Oscar for Hannah and Her Sisters because he was filming reshoots for Jaws the Revenge. By the way, it's Jaws 19 in Back to the
Now,
Future.
Zachy,
Jaws 19, yeah.
Yeah.
Zachy, you may know this.
Yes.
For Jaws the Revenge, were there 2 versions of the movie? One where Mario Van Peebles dies and one where he doesn't?
I don't believe...
Because I could swear on like the home video release he gets eaten, and there's even like a shot where like the shark is dragging him underwater. But then like the TV version, like he comes back at the end, like he survived the attack or something. God, that rings a bell.
To be honest, if there was... Well, I mean, let's find out. I wasn't aware of...
We need to find Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, we need to ask
Sat
him.
next to him in a restaurant once.
Yeah.
True story.
Well, you get to interview all these celebrities.
So here we go. Check it out. This is
Get
according
an
to...
interview with Mario Van Peebles.
That's right. According to Wikipedia, there's a section here about the alternate ending, and it says here, ending changes. Here we go. Let's see. In the ending that was originally filmed,
Come on.
Ellen rammed the shark with Michael's boat, mortally wounding it. The shark then causes the boat to break apart with its death contortions, forcing the people on the boat to jump off to avoid going down with it. Test audiences disapproved of this ending. A new ending was shot with the shark getting stabbed with the bowsprit and then exploding, and with Jake being found wounded but alive.
Hey.
Nice.
So there you go, Sean. You were right about
Oh, and Brian, in Jaws the Revenge, the shark roars like a T-Rex.
that. That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole
They use these like sonar things to like draw it out of the water.
Let's go
And he
down
goes,
the line here. Let's go down the line
So
here.
stupid.
Jaws 2 is again of the sequels, it's the best, and you know that. Considering it's not directed by Steven Spielberg, it's probably the best sequel you were going to get from Jaws.
Yeah.
What's his name? Richard Dreyfuss didn't come back because he was doing Close Encounters at the time. But I would say Jaws 2 is pretty good. It only suffers because it's the sequel to Jaws, which, you know, obviously, in my opinion, Jaws shouldn't even have a sequel. But considering that, it's you know what's funny actually? What I would compare it to is the French Connection 2. Which most people don't...
That's a valid point.
Yeah, because the French Connection 2 is directed by John Frankenheimer. I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But people forget about it because it's like, why do you need a sequel to The French Connection? And it's kind of ironic because...
It's unnecessary, yeah.
It's unnecessary. And Roy Scheider was not in The French Connection 2 because he was filming Jaws. So that's kind of the connection. And
circle.
That's right. That's
Of life.
Jaws 2 is directed by Gino Zwark, who went on to do
Sure it
Supergirl. He did Supergirl. So Jaws 2.
Oh, that Gino Schwartz. Right.
That's right. And then
The Helen Slater Supergirl.
the Helen Slater. That's right. As opposed to what? The Miley Cyrus Supergirl? I don't know. Now Jaws 3D, Jaws 3/Jaws 3D is terrible, and it's a race to the bottom of which one is worse, Jaws 3D or Jaws the Revenge. Now the interesting thing about this is that when it came time to do the third Jaws, Richard Zanuck and David Brown, who produced the first two, their suggestion was to make it a parody. I don't know if you guys know this. They were going to produce it. It was going to be called National Lampoon's Jaws 3 People 0.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. And Universal was like, "No, you're going to kill the franchise, and that's our job." And so they made Jaws they made Jaws 3D, which is horrible. I actually, this is true. I just saw Jaws 3D for the first time like not even a month ago on cable.
Oh, wow.
It's the worst of them all.
It actually is, and that's, I mean, to pick your poison of that one or the third one or the fourth one is pretty tough. But I would say that the third one is probably worse. It has Dennis Quaid as Brody's son.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
funny.
He's Michael, and it's just a friggin' disaster. I mean, you can't even figure that out. And then the fourth one brings back Mrs. Brody, but now she's the hero. Which, like, right there, that sentence, me saying that sentence, makes me hate the movie even more. You know?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know this, Lorraine Gary is the wife, or was the wife, of the head of the studio.
Now it all makes sense.
That's how that works.
Yeah. So it's like the shark, which is not the same shark in either the third one or the second one.
They really don't have any history.
Yeah. It's a shark. But it's after the Brody family. And by the way, Sheriff Brody has died of a heart attack because of the fright of the shark, even though he's defeated it twice now already. It's just terrible. Anyway, my point is. So,
but you got Ben Peoples with a horrible Jamaican accent, and then you got Michael Caine doing a Michael Caine thing, and
right.
there's a cheese factor to it that makes it at least tolerable. Not good by any stretch of the imagination, but like you can get through it.
Well, and they should put that on the box. You can get through it.
You can get through this. Come
Sean
on.
Come on. That's the critic quote.
Back then on the VHS cassette, it's like, look, Cocoon's all out, right? Rent this.
What are you going to watch? Cocoon 2?
We didn't think so. Yeah.
It's like a paragraph on the box. Anyway, so those are our thoughts on the Jaws franchise. Brian, I would say
there's no title on the box. It's just the rant. It's like, oh, this must be Jaws the Revenge.
It's not Cocoon, so it must be
There's just a
Jaws
paragraph like chiding me for thinking about watching Cocoon 2. This must be Jaws 4.
So Brian, your assignment at some point is to check out Jaws 2. I'm actually very curious what you think of it.
All right.
Two.
All right. I'll watch 2.
Not the sequels. Watch the second one. I would actually be curious what you think of that.
Okay. I'll get to it.
Yeah. And here's another letter. This is from Greg. He's one of our regular writers. And he says, Greetings. Got an idea for your show based on the letter in your last show, September 23rd, asking you to think of your favorite unpopular movies. Maybe you could have a regular segment called Overlooked and Underrated or something. You figure out the title. Where you pick one movie that you think is unfairly ignored. Just a suggestion.
Does he have one?
No, he does not, but he suggests that be a regular segment, and I actually think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
The day we start to let our listeners tell us what to do, Zaki. Sons of bitches.
I have another letter here. I like that Sean is not there. You should get rid of him. So, Sean, you're out.
Oh,
Wow.
well,
What a coincidence.
That's right.
I'll get you, Doug.
So we'll. That's actually a good idea for a segment.
That's a good idea. We should do
Yeah,
that. And we should
for sure.
plan for it. So, yeah, we all three have it. And
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
And I like the title actually. Overlooked and underrated. That sounds like a.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
You know, and I have been out for the last 3 episodes, but I just want to mention that there is at least one person in the audience out there who missed me, and you know who you are.
That's right.
Listening right now.
Somebody
You
was
know who
asking
you
where
are.
we buried your body. So. It was not deep enough is the lesson based on you showing up for
But
this one. So.
see what I did there is by singling out one person. I've got the entire audience thinking, "Is it me? Did I miss Sean? It must have been me."
I guess it
I'm
was
the one
me.
who missed him.
I wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sean, I miss you.
Come to terms with the truth, everybody,
Alrighty. So
because I missed you too.
you missed us?
I'm talking to the audience,
Oh.
but yeah, you too.
Oh, okay.
Moving on.
Yes. That's,
What?
That's fine. Okay, so this is kind of cool. I had a chance last week to talk to actor Danny Trejo, who is
Trejo.
yes, that's you have to say that whenever he walks into a room. He's of course he's one of the most familiar faces on the screen. I think over the past 20 years, he has one of the most distinctive, iconic mugs that you know you pretty much you cast him and you know he's got so much character in his face. He's of course best known nowadays for playing Machete in the series of films directed by Robert.
Say it right, Zaki.
Sorry, Machete.
There you go.
Machete.
Thank you. In the series of films directed by Robert Rodriguez. And, you know, by the way, it's kind of a peek behind the curtain, but, you know, when I go out and I do interviews or when I go to press screenings, you know, a lot of it is sort of schedule. I have to work some mojo with my schedule sometimes to make it happen, right? Like, so for example, when I go to screenings, like at night, if I have a screening, for example, that's like I have to schedule it ahead of time. I have to clear it with the wife, and we have to horse trade, basically, right? It's like barter system with my wife.
Mm-hmm. You got kids.
Exactly, because the children apparently require attention. Right?
Yep, Spawn. Yeah.
That's true. So I'll you know, like if I get a notification for a screening, I ask my wife, I'll be like, hey, can I go on this? Like, can I have a Wednesday night? I'll give you 2 Friday nights and a Saturday morning. You know, like that's like we have the barter system, and then you know with interviews and stuff, I have to usually because they're during the day, so I have to schedule around my class schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So this Danny Trejo interview happened just a few days ago. We're recording on Sunday, October 6th. So this was on Friday, and it was one of these things where I was like, hey, you know, I'd love to interview him, and I worked with the publicist. They got me scheduled, but it was like. On Friday, I had class until 10, and then I had another class at noon.
Ugh.
And I teach like out in the San Francisco suburbs, basically, like near San Jose. And the interview was in San Francisco, so I was like, if you can get me in at 10:55. I'll be your best friend because I really wanted to do the interview. So I get done with my class. I fly down to the city. I've never driven so fast. I get in. I park the car. I run upstairs. I get right in. I talk to Danny Trejo for about 10 minutes. And then I'm like, all right, got to go by. And I flew back and got to my class so fast. I have never driven this fast. And it was the most productive day in the world for me because I managed to not have to move anything around. And it was just...
And you made it? Were you late? Or
I was not late. I walked in like...
Nobody's late for Danny Trejo.
I think he meant for my
and
class.
for the kids. Zaki does it for the kids.
I do. Not my kids because I cannot take them to see Machete.
Machete.
But I enjoyed the first Machete movie. I enjoyed the second Machete, which comes out. I'm going to call it that now.
I love listening to you say Machete.
I'm actually worried that Danny Trejo is listening and will get pissed at me.
No, this is awesome. I love saying it.
But, you know, when you say it that way, you're kind of like Ricardo Montalban.
Machete.
Just, you know?
Machete.
So, exactly. Right.
Machete.
Yeah, see?
Machete.
Okay.
Anyway, before we disappear down this
We
rabbit
could
hole,
literally do this for the next hour and a half.
and
I know
you know
we
what?
could.
It would be riveting entertainment. People would not tune out. So
Does it work with his name too? Trejo.
not as much.
Not the same,
not
but
as
it does work.
Now, regardless, we'll talk about the movie in more detail in a little bit in the spoiler portion of the show. But I wanted to go ahead and play my interview with Danny Trejo, somebody who I've admired for a long time, and it was just a joy to talk to him. So let's go ahead and play that.
So we're 5-6 years after you did Machete as a trailer. Did you think you'd be sitting here in the middle of a trilogy?
You know, Machete started 20 years ago. When Robert saw me, he said, I got a character for you. You don't even have to act. Just walk and be yourself and talk. And he saw me kind of like mingling with all the people in Mexico that were down there and the way I approached things. He said, I love this character. And so we talked about it, and then we did Spy Kids, and he said, let's call him Uncle Machete. So that kind of sprung from there. And then when they did Grindhouse, they needed a fake trailer. And Robert says, if we never make this movie, let's just do a trailer for it. So they did Machete. When they came out of the theater seeing Grindhouse, everybody demanded we did Machete. It was the best thing in Grindhouse, you know. And then this is a movie. I love this movie. I love it. Even if I wasn't in it, this is the kind of movie I like. You know what I mean? It's not a whole lot of literary value, you know, and it's not going to go in the time capsule. You know what I mean? It's just it was just a lot of entertainment, you know, from start to finish, you know. And so then after we did Machete, the audience received it so well, we doing Machete Kills, you know, and see how this one goes, and we'll see how Machete kills in outer space. You know?
Well, what do you think the appeal of the character is from? Why do audiences respond to him?
Well, I think people can, first of all, identify with him. He's just a guy that sees wrong and wants to do, you know, make it right. And he is like, you know, you can't identify with Superman, and you can't identify with Iron Man, and you can't identify with none of those guys. They all fly. I mean, and none of us want to have to wear tights all the time, you know. So it's like this guy's just a regular guy. He's just a badass. You know?
Well, and I think you know, you bring such an interesting personal story to this point where it's almost like you've lived two lives, where obviously all of the life experiences you had, and now here you are starring as this action hero. I'm wondering how does one inform the other in terms of the performance that you bring?
Well, a lot of times, you know, it's like it's kind of like when I wake up in the morning. It's like, you know, and I say my prayers, and I just kind of like ask good Lord to let me be the best person I can be. I know how to be the worst person I can be, you know, and I just go about my day trying to see who I can help, because everything good that has happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else. Everything, you know, and I kind of realize that that's the way Diosito wants us to live. Really, is just helping one another. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. If somebody's sick on your neighborhood, go water their plants. You know, go take care of their yard. You know, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't bother. You know, so I started when I came out of prison. I used to take out all the old people's trash, just help them. You know what I mean? And they always think I was going to rob their house, but I just continue to help them.
I saw you last week just by chance. I tuned into the Alma Awards, and it was right when you were on stage and you were talking about Robert. And I was wondering if you could talk about the relationship you have with him. I mean, you have been a team now for many, many years.
Well, you know, when I walked into Robert's office in Los Angeles when he was casting for Desperado, he looked at me and said, "You remind me of the bad guys in my high school." And I didn't know what to say, so I just said, "I am the bad guys in your high school." And we just hit it off. You know, we started talking. He handed me a knife. He says, "Learn how to twirl." I knew how to twirl it. So we did Desperado, and we just hit it off. It was like this communication. And then my uncles came down from San Antonio, because that's where they're from, and to Acuña, Mexico, and they ran into Robert, and we found out we're second cousins. And wow! So we just started talking, and I love Texas. That's where he's from. I'm from Los Angeles, but we just started just really. I think our relationship is that as almost brothers, almost relatives, and it's. He understands me, and I understand him, even when we're working. And we all understand that all of us, all our families, we've all had that one uncle that nobody knows what he does. And nobody knows what is he. Shows up and that's Uncle Machete. Especially all Latinos know they have an Uncle Machete somewhere.
Well, and to that point, I think Robert has had such a big influence in terms of Latino filmmakers, and I was wondering if you could speak to that, because it's a whole community that he's inspired.
I think Robert Rodriguez has done more for the young Latino filmmakers than anybody in the past 50 years. I think he's done more for independent filmmaking than anybody. He's not a secret keeper. He kind of lets his secrets out, whatever they are. Here, let's do this. If the technology is not there, let's create it. You know what I mean? And my son Gilbert was in Machete, and Robert liked him, so he put him as an artist. And then he was going to give him another role in Machete Kills, and my son said, "Better, Robert, can I just shadow you? Can I just shadow you? Can I just, watch you?" Sure. So they actually collaborated. We're talking, and I'd see Gilbert talking to him behind the camera and stuff. And then it's funny, my son right now, him and Frankie Latina, and a friend of his, are making a movie called Snapshot. And Gilbert wrote it. They're doing it and producing, co-directing, and they raise their money on Kickstart,
Wow.
And that's Robert. Robert showed young Latinos how to make a movie. It's not no big secret.
And what advice do you have for people who right now are young and they're in the industry and they're struggling or they're having trouble? Because you have this amazing story that I think people can learn from. What is your lesson that you would pass on to people?
Perseverance. Just don't let anybody tell you. Everybody always says, "Well, there's so much competition in movie making and acting. There's competition in plumbing." You know what I mean? There's competition in plumbing. Go drive down the street. You see 40 different plumbing trucks. So it's like don't let anybody tell you can't do it. It's like you want to do it, and start writing. I mean, just write. I go to schools. When I talk, I said, what? Just sit down and write your whole day out, and look at it and say, wow, this is interesting, and then make a movie out of it. Just go rent a camera, start shooting, get your friends, and it's like we've inspired some pretty good little films going. You know what I mean? And it's funny because Robert always talk about, don't worry about the money, just do it. All that other stuff will come. All that other stuff will come. For the first 5 years of my career, I was inmate number one. I didn't even know I had a career. I just inmate number one. Good enough for me.
And now you're Machete.
Machete.
So what's next for Machete?
Well, I hope it's Machete in outer space.
Now I had read that's going to be happening.
Good to see how people like Machete Kills. Right now I've got let me see, Machete Kills comes out October 11th. We've got Dead in Tombstone, the cowboy movie with Mickey Rourke, coming out the 22nd of October. We've got Badass 2 coming out. Then we have Bullet coming out. And then I did a film with Ray Liotta called The Muppets.
Oh, nice. That's a little bit of a left turn.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're keeping busy.
Want to see me sing and dance?
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. It was great to meet you.
Uncle Machete.
Uncle Machete. I got to say, I've done a lot of interviews for this show. This was one of the better experiences I've had, and that's not to say I had a bunch of bad experiences, but I mean, he was so open and honest about the life experiences he's had. I really appreciated that. I really appreciated hearing him open up about just the journey he's been on.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I've read interviews with him before, so I sort of was familiar with, him aside from his persona and everything. But I have to say, listening to that, I was like, wow, he seems like a very thoughtful, sweet guy.
Yeah, just super nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So, like I said, we'll talk more about his film, the film to be named later.
One more time, Zaki.
Zaki has kids. He knows how to deal with us.
Machete.
There. Oh, tingles. I got tingly.
So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we do have some news to talk about. Lots of headlines, and mainly, this is kind of a TV-centric episode, I'm realizing.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because, the fall season has just started. So we've got lots of news there. First off, I wanted to ask you guys, have you had a chance to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the big Marvel spin-off of the Avengers franchise?
Here we go.
Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Brian.
Brian, why don't you start us off?
I watched the first episode, and I paused it because I had something I wanted to do. And then I did an arbitrary chore and remembered I had it on pause and eventually returned to it. And then it was over. That's kind of my review of S.H.I.E.L.D. No, actually, that sounds... Actually, to be truthful, that's a little bit more harsh than I mean to speak about the show. I didn't know where this was going to go. I had a feeling... Well, you know what? What it turned out to be is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Are you doing that Fred Armisen character?
I know. I noticed, by the way. I do that a lot.
Well,
the thing is...
But the thing is, I was thinking...
I have an uncle.
My cousin knows
Uncle
this guy.
Steve, right? And no. But the thing about that is, look, Boston is very cold this time of year. Okay, but I don't mean to. All right, stop. Time out. I do that a lot. I know. Okay. Back the truck up. Here we go. Ready? S.H.I.E.L.D. I just had this feeling that it was going to be very difficult to take this thing that we love about these films and put it into the TV medium. Like, there was no way. TV is just like it doesn't allow for what these films pull off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like TV with, there are some instances where this is not the case, and that's why those shows thrive. Like, I would argue for Breaking Bad. It's just immersive, quality storytelling, period. And I don't think about watching television when I'm watching Breaking Bad. But when I watched S.H.I.E.L.D., like, it felt like TV from the opening moment. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But when you're trying to link that to these major motion pictures, and not just major motion pictures, I mean billion-dollar films that everybody loves and that feel a certain way, look a certain way. And so this show had no easy task. And I feel like I was entertained enough, but I didn't really feel the need to come back to it the next week.
And did you?
I did not, no.
Okay. Okay.
I only had X amount of time to watch TV this week, and I opted to watch the finale of Breaking Bad again.
Okay.
Instead of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I could barely get through the pilot, and I stopped watching episode 2 about 10 minutes into it. I think Brian covered a lot of what's wrong with it, or rather, what works against the show. But I also think the cast is incredibly uninteresting.
It's an incredibly bland cast.
Yeah, we were sort of talking about this before the show. Just like they all feel like they should be stand-ins for actual actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they're all okay, but they're not distinct. You know what I mean? They don't feel...
Yeah, you can't expect them to carry a show, especially something that what Brian was saying is supposed to, expand on this illustrious Marvel universe that's been set up, and yeah, going back to the TV thing, and this is not just an ABC thing, but like NBC, CBS, like every show on all these networks they all have the same palette, they all have the same color palette, they all look like they're shot by the same people, and like this just looks like an ABC show that has Clark Gregg and some of the
CW actors in it or something.
Yeah.
It's boring. It's really, really boring, and I don't care.
Well,
That's my review.
On the ratings front, the first episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. Garnered 11.9 million viewers.
No surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
a
lot of people were interested, yeah.
The second episode, 8.6 million, so it lost 30% almost of its premiere audience tune-in. So
yeah, I if anyone is enjoying this show, I think that's great. Like, I have no problem with that. I think it's just I don't think it's going to appeal to me.
Yeah.
And as a Joss Whedon fan, sorry, Zaki, it was nice to see some familiar faces pop up in that first episode, but dude, unless they're part of the regular cast, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, see, okay, so I'm going to take a slightly contrary view here, and not especially contrary because I don't disagree with what you're saying. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Sure.
It's kind of disposable, a neat little sidelight to the bigger Marvel universe, and that's it. I agree that
maybe I would agree with you. I think I feel the same way as you do, Zaki.
Yeah.
It was fine. I didn't think it was terrible. It just doesn't seem like something that I feel like I need to get invested in.
It's just kind of boring. That's all.
I mean, other than Coulson, I don't care about anyone else on the show.
Yeah.
Right.
And that to me is problematic because and that's somewhere Joss Whedon always really excelled, was coming up with the great ensembles, and I feel like I'm like, why is Ming-Na even on this show?
Yeah.
Because it could literally be anybody else.
Yeah.
And then the guy, whatever his name is, the second banana, Agent Ward, I don't know who the actor who plays him. He came off an assembly line, and that hacker girl, and I mean they're cookie cutter characters, and that's weird to me. I had somebody be like, "Oh, I'm excited to see like a new Scooby gang come together," with reference to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I'm like, this is not the same thing. I mean, those were great characters, and these are not.
Well,
Totally
and it's easy to say television shows, like, oh, it's a very TV cast, they're not as distinct or memorable, but I always think of Lost. I mean, what an amazing cast. Whatever your opinion is on that show, I mean, those actors were not only good and distinct, but I mean, they just looked... Yeah. I don't know. The casting was phenomenal on that.
Yeah. And outside of Matthew Fox...
is so memorable. Saeed is so memorable.
Yeah. Outside of Matthew Fox, most of those guys hadn't really done anything... anything else.
I mean,
so
it's
that
just
was
brilliant.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, not every show can have that lightning in a bottle,
and
I understand that, but I don't know.
Well, and what about doing more to tie it in directly with the movies? Like, we saw this past episode, the second episode ended with a cameo by Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. What about doing more stuff like that more directly? Would that make you more interested?
No.
No.
I mean, you could... Oh, I'm sorry, Sean, you go ahead.
No, I don't really have anything to back that up with, just a flat no.
Okay.
Because there's nothing... There's no way that you can make it gratifying. Like, you're never going to get Chris Hemsworth to appear on the show, or Robert Downey Jr. to, like, appear in, like, a 6-episode story arc of the show.
Yeah,
like, it's not going to be... Everything's going to... It's all going to feel like a gimmick if they try to connect the two.
I mean,
it's going to feel too gimmicky.
What about, like, here's what I'm thinking, right? Like you got Captain America 2 coming out, and that has Anthony Mackie as the Falcon, and he's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Well, why not have like a 4-episode arc where you write in the Falcon, and that leads into Captain America 2?
And maybe that would be great, but you can't. You're not going to be able to pull that off with a lot of frequency, right? And so when it's not there, I think you're going to miss it
I see.
if you get a taste of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you're also gonna, and unless they do something about the cast, like you're gonna cheapen the films by attaching all these other sort of
Oh man, if you put like those
boring
lame
nobodies.
characters in the movies,
it's like the Star Wars prequels. It's the same thing. Like all of a sudden, Hayden Christensen has to be at the end of Return of the Jedi. What?
right.
It's like all of a sudden, Assembly Line Joe is like somehow associated with the Winter Soldier movie. God, that would just piss people off. It pissed me off. I'm pissed off right now.
That's hilarious. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a mixed reaction to S.H.I.E.L.D. Let's see if my reaction changes. I'm willing to give it time. I'm not deleting it from my DVR queue just yet. So let's see what happens. Now, Brian, you just mentioned Lost, and I thought this was worth pointing out that Lost creator Damon Lindelof wrote a letter earlier this week directed at Sean Coyle, I believe.
Why do you hate me?
Yeah, I think that
By
was the
Damon
title.
Lindelof.
Please stop hating. Now
I don't hate you.
Now the letter. I got to be honest. I read this and I felt bad.
No.
I did. I felt bad.
So, Brian, can you describe the letter here? Because you brought it to my attention.
So when Breaking Bad ended, Damon Lindelof was asked by, I believe it was The Hollywood Reporter, to write an article about it, just his thoughts on it. And the thing is the night that Breaking Bad ended, Twitter exploded in Damon Lindelof's direction of people being like, "That's how you end a show, numbnuts." Which is terrible. I think that's terrible. So anyway, so he was writing this thing about Breaking Bad, but then he decided, like, what can I say about this ending that people aren't already thinking? Yes, it was perfect. Yes, it was brilliant. And yes, everyone hates the way I ended an immensely popular show also. So it gave him time to sort of reflect on that. I feel like he sort of apologized for it, but didn't apologize for the ending. Like he apologized for people being disappointed in it, but he was like, I can't take this anymore. Like, like he spoke of it as like an elephant in the room. Always, whenever someone's talking to him, whenever someone's interviewing him, it's always the elephant in the room. So he's like, you know what? Let's just get it out there. Like, you don't like it. I'm sorry you don't like it. I still like it for myself. Let's just call it quits now. Like, we're done with this conversation.
Agree to disagree, move on.
Agree to disagree. Yeah. But it was at the same time, I mean, it was pretty, I don't know if I'd call it self-deprecating, but he acknowledged, like, he's like, I know. You didn't like it. I know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you can't help but feel bad for the guy a little bit.
I agree with you, Brian. Now, Sean, I'm curious why you were unmoved by his plea.
No, I don't feel bad for him because of what he even says in the article, where he's like, I'm going to go cry into my barrels of money. Like, I don't feel bad for somebody who's in that position. I think that the Twitter bashing was a bit much. It's like, but that's what the internet, that's what Twitter's for. That's what fanboys exist for, is to be pissed off and, use those things as a vehicle to vent their frustrations. And to be fair, the Lost finale is one of, my favorite things that Lindelof has done. So, mwah.
So you did not hate the Lost finale?
No, I did not. Okay. I wish that there was more of an admittance of, like, yeah, we had a pretty good idea of where we wanted to start, and we thought we knew how it was going to end, but all of a sudden it was this huge hit, and the studio wanted us to do a lot more with it, and we painted ourselves into about a dozen different corners, and yeah, we admit we had no idea. At one point, we just realized we had no idea where we were going, so we just decided to end it.
Okay.
Because as satisfying and as nice as the ending is, it is also kind of a cop-out. Mm-hmm. But
the Lost creators do seem like they come from the George Lucas school of
never admit
history, where they sort of they're not willing to admit things and like, we were always thinking this, when clearly they weren't.
Yeah, and I want to go on record. I think Damon Lindelof is a good idea man. I think he comes up with great ideas, great concepts, and he can start a story. But I don't know. He needs a partner. Or just, maybe he should just be a story by guy instead of a writer.
Right. No, that makes sense, what you're saying.
Things he's done post-Lost, I think, have just been complete messes. Let's not go down the Prometheus road again. Because it's bad.
But on the other hand, he rewrote the ending to World War Z, which was kind of good.
He kind of saved that movie.
I didn't see the movie.
From itself. He saved it from itself.
So it's interesting. I think a lot of people, especially because that was happening on Twitter and people calling him out that night, I was dying to know what he thought about all that, so it was sort of convenient that he wrote a little manifesto about it.
Yeah.
But he too ruined the ending of... maybe this was Brian's fault for not pointing out there were spoilers in the Lindelof article.
Yeah.
But he ruins the ending of the show.
Yeah.
I was like, damn you, Damon Lindelof.
Yeah, well, that's my bad. I guess you could assume that if he's writing some article about the ending, he'll talk about it. That's my bad.
Yeah. See, Brian gave you too much credit, Sean.
You screwed me again, Costanza.
Now, what are some of the other fall shows that have you guys had a chance to check anything else out? I have to admit, I don't get to watch much TV these days, and nothing in the fall lineup has really stood out to me. What about you guys?
No.
Sean, I think you probably get to watch more TV than us. Anything in the new season that sticks out to you?
Well, what really sticks out is the ridiculousness of the Ironsides trailer, that new NBC Blair Underwood wheelchair detective show.
Ironside.
That was the pitch. Yeah, that was the log
which,
line.
by the way, I don't know, Brian, if you remember this, we talked about it like a few months ago. I think this was an episode Sean was not with us. It was you and me, and I was because we were talking about the finale of The Office, and I mentioned how NBC really doesn't have anything else in the pipeline. And to point that out, I mentioned Ironside, and I was like, he's a tough cop, and he's black, and he's crippled, and that's basically the show that they've aired.
Dude, and to the showrunner's credits and to Blair Underwood's credit, like I'm a Blair Underwood fan.
Poor Blair Underwood, man. I feel bad.
But like this is NBC's fault, I think. But first of all, there's these buses going around North Hollywood right now that it's the pitch for what's the show we're talking about? Jeez, Ironside. And it just says
Ironside, singular.
His town, his team, his rules. And I'm like, well, that's the freaking tagline for every single show that's like ever come out.
Right.
But what really made me laugh was we were flying home. We visited my family for the Labor Day weekend, and we were flying home, and it was JetBlue, so we're watching TV, and there's this commercial that pops up, and it's like this dramatic lighting, and it's like close-ups of like Blair Underwood's eyes and his scowl, and like he's loading a gun, and it's like all this dramatic stuff, and you're like, whoa, what's this? And the way they do it, it makes it feel like a joke because it's all this dramatic stuff, and
I
then
totally agree.
Oh yeah, he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Stupid NBC, like, don't draw attention to the fact that he's in a wheelchair. Like, it's not, that shouldn't be the gimmick of the show. You know what I mean? Like,
that's all it has. That's the only selling point.
Yeah.
See Blair Underwood rolling around.
Just, it's so stupid. It felt like a spoof. The commercial, the trailers that I've seen have all felt like I'm supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
You know?
And apparently other people agree because the premiere of Ironside is the lowest rated premiere in NBC history.
Wow.
Yeah.
They didn't have that doctor show, did they?
It did less well than that doctor show.
No.
Doctor with the two faces on his hand or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. That's
saying something.
NBC,
you know, that's interesting too because ABC had that lottery show, Lucky 7.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
already
apparently
canceled.
those ratings were pretty abysmal too, and it's already been canceled.
That's already been canceled. Yep. So not a great lineup. There's also a new show. It's right after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's called The Goldbergs.
Yes, I've seen the first two.
Oh, okay. So what do you think of that one?
Go on.
Well, here's the thing. It's obviously trying to be Wonder Years for this generation. It's like it's not even trying to be clever about it. It's Patton Oswalt is the Daniel Stern inner narration of the youngest kid.
Patton Oswalt. Well, that's good. I mean, I like Patton Oswalt.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
really,
I feel like we're leading up to something.
Here we go.
There is no reason that this show needs to take place in the 80s. The only reason that the show takes place in the 80s is so that they can say things like, hey, I bought this cassette tape at Sam Goody, wink to the camera kind of thing. It is so forced, and all the 80s stuff is so... It's just like the most cliched, unoriginal kind of stuff just thrown out there like, hey, how about a father and son, who are at odds? How about they sing together to that REO Speedwagon song that everybody sings together in every movie and TV show we've ever seen? And
now,
it's like the mom character. Here's the thing. Okay, this is where the show really fails.
Okay.
It's very, very cartoony.
Yeah.
And most of it is because of the mom. Like
and the mom is Wendy, what's her name, from Bridesmaids.
Sure thing. Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't put that together until now. But like she is so over the top, like goofy. Almost like, remember how annoying the mom was in Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes.
I could watch
like,
that show because of her.
It's like that, but kind of worse at times.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's all this weird cartoony goofiness, and it's just like she's just this obnoxious character. And then there's this moment at the end of the show where she's like on the swing set sniffing baby blankets, sniffing her kids' baby blankets, because she's like, oh, I'm so sad my kids are growing up. And it's supposed to be this moment where it's just like, oh, no, hey, guys, we're telling you that this is a sad moment because she's sniffing these blankets and she's crying. But I'm like, but she's so obnoxious, and you didn't earn this moment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a rip about anything that's happening here. Just very, very just kind of sloppy. And I don't know, it goes for like the cheap laughs and the easy laughs, and which I'm fine with. Like, I like that kind of stuff too, but it's like, I don't know. I just think taking place in the 80s,
there could be more.
It could be definitely more, and it's a really talented cast. Like
Jeff Garlin. I love Jeff Garlin.
Yeah.
Jeff Garlin, who's basically sleepwalking and grunting through the 2 episodes that I saw.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Like the guy like Jeff Garlin, like his role could be played by anybody, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
Oh wow. Well,
he's just he's just screaming fat guy.
Right.
But he does that very well in his defense.
Yeah.
Well, and you were saying, Sean, which I thought was a good point earlier, that the Wonder Years doesn't force its era on you. They just exist within it. Like these are, you could have told those stories in any era, like the A, B, C, D of the story in any era, but because it happens to take place in the 60s, the things reflect upon it, in different ways. But they're not calling out like, "Hey, I just picked up this record that I'm going to play now. It's the new Jimi Hendrix. Ever heard of him?"
Yeah.
He'll never amount to anything. Which it sounds like this show is doing.
Yeah, and speaking of the Wonder Years,
it sounds like Brian, that show that you had to watch back in Chicago, in that test screening that you went to.
Yeah.
Good thing that we got away from Pearl Harbor or whatever.
Yeah, the guy who could time travel. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
See, you think I don't listen to you?
Very good.
Yeah.
But Brian brings up a really good point about what the Wonder Years, what the Wonder Years does so well is that it's a very sort of organic way of tying in impactful moments in history during that time period. Like I remember the episode with the moon landing happened. It was an episode where like Kevin and his dad were fighting through the whole show, or maybe it was Kevin and his mom or something like that. And it's like, this whole episode, you're like wondering like, how is this going to get resolved? How is this going to get resolved? And then there's this really sort of awe-inspiring moment where like Kevin goes into the living room and his parents are watching the moon landing, and they're like, "Come here, like sit, like experience this with us." And they put, I think his mom puts his arm around him, and it's this really nice moment that like, like this stuff that we've been arguing about, like that stuff doesn't matter. Yeah. And it's like the Goldbergs is so goofy that like I can't imagine an episode that has to deal with like the Berlin Wall coming down or anything,
the Challenger or something,
or the Challenger exploding, like any of that kind of stuff. Like,
that seems like, and this is kind of a tangent, but I mean that seems like a problem with comedy in general these days.
Yeah.
where we're so afraid to show our heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to in advance make fun of emotion.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's
You know?
Well, and I was telling Sean. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off if you're.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was telling Sean if people are looking for an '80s show that's not like this, it's Freaks and Geeks,
Yeah.
which
That's what
I
hear.
wholeheartedly recommend to anyone who has not seen. Like, I have no reservations recommending the show to people. Like, it is really funny. It's really touching, and I don't want to call it subtle because it's not subtle, but it's just natural. It just exists as it exists, sort of like the Wonder Years, and it's just great characters. It's only like 17 episodes because it got canceled really quickly, but it's very worth it. I think it's the show that Sean is wishing this other show was.
Sounds like it. Yeah, the Goldbergs is just kind of annoying.
And you'll recall that I interviewed Paul Feig, the creator of Freaks and Geeks, a few months ago.
Right.
So, I mean, that show was basically the petri dish where modern comedy has sprang from.
It really has.
Yeah.
It really has. All this Judd Apatow stuff and Seth Rogen and all. I mean, that all came from Freaks and Geeks.
Man, that's something. And by the way, just to make you guys feel old, the Wonder Years premiered 25 years ago this fall.
Whoa!
Wow.
So that's how old we are.
Holy nuts!
I know. So yikes. Other TV news now not so much in the premieres and whatnot, but some interesting stuff. First of all, we were just talking about The Simpsons, and it's just been renewed for its 26th season.
26.
Why not?
So this right now, this is 25, season 25 that we're in. Is that right?
I guess it would be. Right? Yeah. Well, because I mean it wouldn't be news that it's renewed if it's on.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if maybe it gets like 2 season at a time renewals. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I think the actually no, you know what? I don't think this is the 25th season. Now that I think about it, because I think the perception was that it would do 25 years and then be done.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it's now going past that says that there's no end in sight.
No end in sight. Yeah.
Which is. No, I'm wrong. I apologize. We are currently in the 25th season. That's the season that just started. That was, by the way, the Homeland parody, which I didn't understand because I don't watch the show.
Right.
And I had asked Sean, I was like, hey, can you watch it so that we can talk about it? And Sean was like, I'll be back in a jiffy. And then he chose not to watch it. So that's
It was either that or listen to the Machete interview.
Touché.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is a milestone.
Good.
That's pretty amazing. That's a lot of episodes.
So we don't want to get into like, does the show suck or whatever, but I mean, geez, 26 seasons makes it the longest running show on the air, but it gets it up there in terms of the longest running shows ever, right?
Yeah, well, and think about it this way too. I mean, the cast is still intact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Despite,
amazing.
I think, some grumbling.
Yeah, for sure. And that could have led on other. I mean, that shows that don't even last an eighth of this has the same issue where actors leave over money and everything, and the fact that this has worked out as long as it has, that's amazing.
Now, Brian, you met Harry Shearer a couple years back, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
And this was before the movie even came out, if I recall.
Yeah, the movie was up and coming, I think.
So then this would have been 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Right? Because the movie
must
was
have been
07.
fall of 05 or something.
Wow. Okay. So from what you told me back then, even then he wasn't thrilled with the direction of the show.
He was very coy once he found out I was a fan, because I don't think he wanted me. He didn't know who I was very well,
Right.
and he didn't want me saying things. But he sort of was a little eye-rolly about the movie. Yeah.
Okay, about the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think the movie's that bad.
No, but you know what? I think the movie has evolved a lot. I talked to a guy, this is way back when, I talked to a guy who was there for a table read years before the movie even came out, and he told me a little bit about it, and it sounds like it changed a lot.
Okay.
It was constantly evolving. So I don't know. Maybe even for that reason, it didn't feel like something that he could be sure of until it was all finished.
Right. Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, I mean, those guys are getting paid buku bucks.
Yeah.
To do.
Who knew? I mean, when they joined that thing at the beginning, and they're like, "Okay, I'll do this cartoon on this network no one watches, whatever." I mean, who knew that would make them into what they are now?
I mean, when you think about it, the only reason they did the voices on The Simpsons is because they were part of the cast of the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah.
So it was cheaper to have them do the voices. Like, they just happened to be around.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like, that's amazing.
Yeah, talk about good fortune.
You know, Dan Castellaneta, Julie Cameron, they were all part of the show. That's amazing. I mean, yeah, and I don't want to minimize what they do. I don't be like, oh, they're just getting paid tons of money, because obviously they're doing something really important in terms of the show, not in terms of life. Right? But in terms of the show, obviously you can't do it without them. But I mean, it's good work if you can get it. That's my point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we didn't have to keep going on, but I guess this next or the season that's airing now, they've said they're going to kill off a major character, right?
So let's make our predictions now, and then we can check if we're going to be wrong. Who do you think they're going to kill off?
Comic book guy.
Are you?
Well,
that's your guess?
Just a guess. I haven't watched it in years and years and years.
The hint that was dropped was that it's the person who does the voice for this character has won an Emmy for playing this character.
Oh, for playing this character?
Supposedly, that's what the rumor was.
That would narrow it down considerably, wouldn't it?
Well, it was a little muddled because I guess like everybody in the cast has won an Emmy.
Oh.
Because some people were thinking like Sideshow Bob or something like that.
But for playing
that could be.
I could see Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, I could see that too. It's a smarter guess.
But it's also not, because why would they want to kill off Sideshow Bob?
He's, I don't know, been done to death.
Well, touche.
Kind of.
I don't know.
But I mean, from their end, you know, they've got Kelsey Grammer who comes by. Like, why would they get rid of that? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so none of you guys made any predictions. So
I did.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Brian says comic book. I'm gonna say Dr. Hibbert. Dr. Hibbert. That's my prediction.
But he's got his Cosby family he'd be leaving behind.
Exactly. It would be more tragic.
I'm going to say Patty or Selma.
Yeah, how about both? I've never liked those characters.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens with that. Also, one other new show that I wanted to mention to you guys, and Sean, you would not have been able to see it. Brian, I'm curious if you did. It's called Hello Ladies.
Right. Yes. I'm
on
familiar
HBO.
with it, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, this is a show starring Stephen Merchant, who's Ricky Gervais's writing partner. Mm-hmm. And it's very much in the vein of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
Where it has
sort of an awkward humor.
It's just incredibly awkward. And if you've seen, obviously, if you've seen The Office and Extras, but even if you've seen, what's that? Life is Short.
Yeah.
It's you know that. It's right in that wheelhouse. Very funny, very awkward, and very good. If you get a chance to check it out, Brian, I think you have HBO, right, Brian?
I do.
Yeah, give it a shot. I think
okay.
you'll be amused. You'll find it amusing, and you'll cringe a little bit as you watch it.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
and I look forward to discussing it with you in about 8 months.
Sounds good. The Sean clock starting now. And other big news, they announced the sequel to Ted 2, The Revenge.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting because, and I know we've actually talked about this very thing before, but Ted 1 is the highest grossing comedy of all time, which I find sort of fascinating because I was okay with Ted. It was all right. You know what I mean? But I don't hear anyone ever quote it. I don't hear people reference it. I don't know anyone that owns it. You know, it doesn't feel like it really made much of a cultural impact, but it's the highest grossing comedy of all time. That's pretty interesting.
So what do you attribute the high gross and the lack of cultural impact on?
I think that has to do with Seth MacFarlane. You know, it was a perfect combination, really. I mean, Seth MacFarlane, which is going to get a lot of people like, oh, his first movie, okay. You know, he's on television, he can do whatever he wants, so you got that thing. You got Mark Wahlberg, so people who don't care about Seth MacFarlane are like, oh, Mark Wahlberg's in this thing, and there's a teddy bear. Like, it's kind of a weird thing, a live-action guy and a talking teddy bear. But you get Mark Wahlberg, it's like, oh, okay, this is a mainstream guy. It was just sort of a perfect combination, I think, to get a lot of people in there. And, honestly, I think high ticket prices, frankly. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I really do think that probably helped.
So, okay, the cost of getting in is what made it number one.
Yeah, and you know, some other comedy that's just okay is gonna come out in a couple of years and it'll make a ton of money just because ticket prices keep going up.
That's really funny. You know, I
don't want to discount the movie though. I should say because it's fine. It's a fine movie. You know what I mean? Like, it made me laugh. I don't think I ever need to watch it again. I think a lot of the jokes were literally recycled from Family Guy.
Yeah,
but I mean, literally recycled from Family Guy.
Well, just the whole cutaway humor.
Yeah. But I just think that's really interesting. So, you know, sequel, we'll see how it does.
I saw it for the first time just a few weeks ago.
Oh.
And I thought the funniest part was everything before the title.
The whole boy making the wish.
Yeah, that whole thing. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
When you know, the teddy bear comes alive, and when Ralph Garman and what's her name, when they see him alive for the first time,
right,
they're like, "Get the gun," you know.
Yeah.
I was rolling, but it never was as funny as that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know,
that's just interesting.
Yeah, it's and I have a feeling the sequel will be more of the same. So, you know,
right.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Other news in the realm of film, we have Star Wars. And,
what?
Well, Brian, I don't know if you heard, but
what happened?
We have Star Wars Episode 7 coming out, Brian, and
they're making another Star Wars.
What the hell?
Cool.
It'd be funny if, Brian, if you just like exploded right now.
The doctor told us we're not supposed to mention Star Wars, Zaki.
Well, Brian, what do you got in Star Wars news? Fill us in.
Nothing. I didn't put it on the outline.
Oh, did you? You did put it on the outline.
What do you have on Star Wars, Zaki?
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but they're making another Star Wars movie.
Yeah. At this point, you know, I don't really feel like it's sort of there'll be tidbits and there's rumors.
Yeah.
And I tend to sort of stay away from the rumors because, you know, who knows. But,
okay, so no Star Wars news this week. I did want to mention this, though, and I should have brought this up earlier. They have the Gotham TV series coming up.
Yes, okay. So
well, hold on one second. Let me fill the audience.
Speaking of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, Fred Armisen. Spit it out, Armisen. Spit it out.
Well, Brian, hold that thought, or hold those several unconnected thoughts in just 1 second. So it was announced last week that Fox has picked up a show called Gotham, which is going to be a prequel to Batman, the way Smallville was a prequel to Superman. But the difference is that this show, rather than following a young Bruce Wayne as he sort of embarks on his journey to becoming Batman, his beginning as Batman, if you will, this would be the story of Jim Gordon, a.k.a. Commissioner Gordon, future Commissioner Gordon, who fights the Joker and Penguin and Two-Face and all the other Batman villains. Oh, really? That's what they're saying.
Villains?
Well, I don't know if those specific villains, but they've said the Batman Rogues Gallery. I don't think they're talking about Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
I bet they'll pick from the lower tier characters.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Anyway, so this is going to be a show on Fox about the young Jim Gordon. Now, Batman fan number one is Brian Hall on this show.
Hello.
So, Brian Hall, go.
My good pal Zaki Hassan once loaned me a comic book about Gotham City Police. And I thought it was really fun. It was really interesting to have Batman as a peripheral character who doesn't really show up in the storyline. It's about the cops and how they're dealing with this vigilante who's doing their job, which is annoying to them, but also doing their job better than them, which is very frustrating. Some of the cops believe in him, some of the cops don't. And I thought it was a pretty cool angle. And so that's what I thought this show was going to be like. But it sounds like this is pre-Batman, so that's really interesting because in a way it almost feels like the show will be building toward the reveal that Batman has started doing his thing. You know, like you're almost waiting, sort of like with Smallville, I guess you're waiting for him to finally put on the cape and...
Right.
And so I really do feel like there's a lot of potential with this idea because Gotham City itself is sort of a character in a way that we're familiar with the tone of that city and the problems of that city. And again, I didn't know it had to do with those villains specifically. But Jim Gordon as a character, I feel like Jim Gordon could be a good show. You just have to put it in the right hands. It's going to be a procedural, obviously, which I think a lot of people were complaining about with S.H.I.E.L.D., where it's like, oh, it's just another procedural.
Right.
But again, I mean, if you really play up the world of Gotham as we know it and Jim Gordon as we kind of know him and expand him, if it's done right, I mean, we say this about everything, and this is true. There's a good version of this and there's a bad version of this.
Right.
So I hope it's a good version. I think that could be interesting.
So you sound a lot more enthusiastic about this than I expected.
Well, I think part of it is because, well, and even Batman Year One, the comic, that was really interesting, where a lot of that follows Jim Gordon's story. And
right.
I just feel like he's a character with the... Here I am. Now I'm doing the Fred Armisen thing again. With the S.H.I.E.L.D. show, you're taking me into a universe with characters I don't know or care about.
Okay.
And you didn't even cast people interesting enough for me to try to care about.
I see.
But
yeah.
Jim Gordon, I already know. And Jim Gordon Begins, which this show is going to be. I think there's potential in that.
Okay. Sean, what do you think?
I thought it was a show about a kid with a lisp, Jimmy Gotham. Hello, my name is Jimmy Gotham.
Have you been drinking?
Anyone?
What has happened here?
Jeez, beasties, it's Jimmy Gotham.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. See, I can always count on Brian.
I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I...
All right, anyway, all right.
No, I think it sounds like a fine idea.
Here's my prediction.
All that just for that. I think it's a fine idea.
Thank you, Sean. Here's my prediction. Jim Gordon will not have a mustache on the show.
I could see that.
Yeah, and I will be pissed off because of that.
You know what? It's funny, now that you say that,
Yeah.
I do have an image in my head of what he'll look like, and he probably won't look like that.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool. I mean, you know, he's this beat cop, and then he's working with these corrupt people, and so he probably has to be corrupt for a little bit just to fit in, but then he's like, F that, that's not who I am. I gotta, go against the flow. Like, there's something interesting. That could be a movie, you know what I mean? I think that's an interesting story.
Network note number one.
Are you listening, Hollywood?
Network note number one. Get rid of the mustache.
Get rid of the mustache. People don't like mustaches.
Yeah.
Unless they listen to Arcade Fire.
Looks like a pedophile.
Yeah, or a porn star.
Or a second thought, bring it back.
Or a cop. Wait a minute.
Oh, full circle. Circle. We're going off the rails. So, Zaki, what do you think of Gotham?
I just think it's... I don't understand why they're doing it. I think...
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I like Jim Gordon as a character, but I think that this is a show. It's like S.H.I.E.L.D. in the sense that, you know, the analogy is there, the comparison is there because it's the most apt comparison, where you keep waiting for Captain America to show up.
Sure.
And I think that Jim Gordon is an interesting character, the way Perry White is an interesting character. But that, like, I like those characters. I think you can't do Superman without having Perry White, but you shouldn't do a Perry White without Superman. Wow, did I just blow you away?
No. Well, I was just thinking because there was the other comic that I'm going to forget the name of, Zaki, that you just bought me recently.
Batman Year One.
Earth One.
Earth One, sorry. Batman Earth One, right.
And again, I mean, Jim Gordon, it's kind of the arc I just said, where it's, he's trying to be a good guy, but he's surrounded by bad guys. Corrupt cops, so the corrupt cops don't trust him, so he's sort of in this muddied position of, he just wants to get out of there, and he doesn't feel safe with his daughter in the city. Like, I do feel like I know what his story is or his arc is, whereas Perry White, like, I don't really know what his arc is, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess to Zaki's point, though, I think we're all probably picturing Gary Oldman in our heads a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
no, I'm picturing Pat
casting
Hingle.
is key.
So,
Pat Hingle.
yeah, that's who I want to see in the.
Pat Hingle, who only had 4 fingers on one hand.
Really?
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Pat Hingle, by the way, for those of you listening, he played Commissioner Gordon in the 4 Batman movies from the 80s and 90s. I feel like we should clarify that. Yeah.
So, anyway, there's that.
All right, so moving on. Let's talk up some trailers, and then we'll get to the new releases for the week.
Machete.
Yeah, exactly. You just stick around through the trailers, and then we'll get to Machete. First up, we have... Okay. You want to get that out of your system? First up, we have...
Good. Once it's in, it can never come out.
I, Frankenstein. This is the new film starring Aaron
I watched
Eckhart.
that.
You watched the trailer?
I did.
Or the movie?
The trailer.
Oh, the trailer. All right. Well, let's play some of the audio, and then we can talk about it.
I was given life 200 years ago. I am like none other.
You have strength and speed and stamina, far beyond that of any human. You could use those gifts in a war that you are already a part of.
I go my own way.
You cannot save the human race. Nothing can stop their demise.
Come with me. There's an entire army of monsters like me. Tens of thousands of them. It could mean the end of all mankind.
All right, Brian.
Zaki.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't Frankenstein... Okay, so if people pick this up from the trailer, Frankenstein... This is not Frankenstein back in the times with pitchfork and torches and people chasing him from a castle or something. I mean, this is Frankenstein in 21st century New York.
That's right.
And man, is he out to kick a little ass. So wouldn't Frankenstein stink? It's like sewn together from corpses, if I'm correct. Right?
Are you asking me, or
I am asking you? Wouldn't Frankenstein be a little smelly?
Yeah, I didn't think about it, admittedly, but yeah, you're right.
And it looks like there's a couple patches that make up his face, which all conveniently make up Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, I'm like a regular dude, and I'm kind of wishing I was sewn together out of pieces of corpses if I could look like Aaron Eckhart.
That made up Aaron. I'm going to be honest. I'm not much of a hater around these parts.
Yeah.
I'm pretty even-keeled here. I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I thought this looked like poo on a stick.
I totally agree.
I was like, what am I looking at?
It was one of these things where I was like, it's like somebody put Underworld and Van Helsing in a blender.
Oh, good analogy.
You know?
Yeah. They're somewhere in the middle. These demons were flying around. These terrible-looking CG demons were flying around. I was like, nope.
Yeah, it's funny because I got to that part, and it's like Frankenstein, whose name is Adam. He's Adam Frankenstein.
Stupid.
which
No, that's the one thing I can get behind, actually.
I think the rejected name was Todd Frankenstein. I think
That's what I would have done.
yeah. But so he's Adam Frankenstein, and he's being chased by this winged demon, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, well, that's just not believable. And then I'm like, what am I saying? As I'm watching the Frankenstein monster being chased by a winged demon. So I don't know what was happening there. But, yeah, I don't know. Sean, what do you think?
There's no point in continuing this conversation.
Unless you have something really funny to add. I'd like to hear that.
Better
Sounds
than
like
Jimmy
not.
Gotham. Better than Jimmy Gotham?
Okay, so I'll take that as a no then. That Sean has a-
It just looked like Hansel and Gretel and all these other random.
Yeah. This looked like, and I like Aaron Eckhart. This is so weird
Yes,
that he
me
doesn't
too.
find better movies.
Well,
but like,
here's my theory about why Aaron Eckhart did this movie. He got into a car accident with a movie producer who doesn't have insurance. That's a tie-in to way back. If you listen to the show,
that's funny.
you're being rewarded. Okay, well, next up, and I'm not sure. I got to be honest. I'm not sure this next trailer is that much of a step up from My Frankenstein.
Really?
There's a better trailer.
Well,
I'm going to see the second movie. I'm not going to see I, Frankenstein. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so next up is Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. Let's play some of that, and then we'll talk about it.
You know, you sold this as an office job. Why don't you sit down? Now talk me through your very scary scenario. Keep in mind, I don't have your PhD.
Tokyo, London, the United States. It's gonna be a wipeout. We'll never see it coming.
You're not just an analyst anymore. You're operational now.
Jack?
I have to go to Moscow.
Why don't you want me to come?
Because I'm gonna be working the whole time.
They play rough over there, Jack. Victor Cherevin is unpredictable.
You Americans like to think of yourselves as direct. Perhaps you are just rude.
Perhaps you're just touchy. Jack, you got another problem. What are you doing here?
You lied to me for 3 years. Somebody
Come
you
on,
were in
of
the
course
CIA.
not. Can we have a minute, please? No. This is geopolitics, not couples therapy.
All right, Brian Hall, go.
This looks sort of like the Bourne Identity. Like they wanted to make another Bourne Identity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so they took a character or a franchise that we're already familiar with and tried to reboot it and make another Bourne Identity.
Yeah.
Because the way I remember Jack Ryan, the character, and
It's not
I have
this.
not read the books. I only know him from the Alec Baldwin portrayal and the Harrison Ford portrayal.
Right.
He was sort of like a suit who knew how to handle a gun, but, you know, he wasn't jumping through windows on motorcycles.
Yeah.
You know, he was sort of a, oh crap, I got to get thrown into this action here. Like, okay, I've got training and I can do this, but this isn't really my thing.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of like a guy. And in this, he looks sort of like a, you know, he's he's been trained in everything and he's a judo expert and I don't know. I'm not, you know what, that's fine. I don't know. This is coming from someone who's not a huge fan of this. I haven't read the books. I like the movies. I don't remember them super well. So it's like, all right, it is what it is. But if you were a fan, I'll pass the torch to you guys here. If you're a fan of this character and those books and that character, you know, what do you guys think of this reinterpretation?
Well, Sean, I'll go first here.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I watched the trailer and I was like, why even call it Jack Ryan?
Yeah.
I was like, this and look, I'm rooting for the film. I like the director. It's Kenneth Branagh. I like Chris Pine. I think he's a good choice to play Jack Ryan. I watched that trailer. I was like, that's not Jack Ryan. And you know, it's like, just watch the previous 4 movies. People crap all over The Sum of All Fears, which is the one starring Ben Affleck. First of all,
it's a good movie.
Yeah,
you
talk about overlooked and underrated. Bam, Sum of All Fears, right?
Yeah. It's a really good movie.
People wipe their ass with that movie because of Ben Affleck. It's a good movie. And the character that Ben Affleck plays, you can see him as the same character Alec Baldwin is, and that eventually becomes Harrison Ford. I cannot say that about this. He's not Jack Ryan. So at that point, it's like, why call him Jack Ryan?
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm like, Some of Our Fears was already a reboot, so I think it's the first time we've done a reboot. I believe. Third of all, or whatever number I'm up to, this has to be the worst title in the history of bad titles.
I totally agree.
Shadow Recruit? What the hell?
Sounds like a video game. Call of Duty, Shadow Recruit.
It's worth pointing out that they released the trailer 2 days after Tom Clancy died. Tom Clancy just passed away a few days ago. He's the creator of Jack Ryan. And I feel like they released I feel like they came up with the name and were hiding it from him. And then they're like, oh, he's dead. Now we can release it because it's this horrible title. They picked possibly the most un-Clancy title that they could.
Right.
So I don't know. I was somebody who was excited. Not even excited. I was intrigued about this movie, and then I saw this trailer, and I'm a lot less interested than I was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it looks very James Bondy.
Yeah.
It looks the route that they've taken with the James Bond movies.
Yeah. When you mentioned Kenneth Branagh, the direction looked cool. The action looked cool. I mean, I'm just saying this doesn't look like a Jack Ryan movie. But
I don't know. And you guys have already said this. I was going to use what Nicolas Cage is in The Rock, where he's the lab rat thrown into this.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
But at the same time, and I totally agree with you guys. But at the same time, I don't think the Jack Ryan character is anywhere close to that sort of iconic level where it's like,
for sure,
you have to follow his origin story so closely. I totally get. It's just it's sort of what these spy movies have become.
But it's not about iconic or whatnot. But I mean, the character's been in however many novels, and I'm kind of like, look, that's what makes him unique, is that he's not James Bond. Mm-hmm. He is just a guy, and I'm like, why is it? It's all about what are you trading off, right? Is it worth trading off a unique and interesting character for yet another riff on Jason Bourne? Right. Jason Bourne is Jason Bourne, and Jack Ryan is Jack Ryan.
Well, what confused me is that this is sort of being billed as being one of the bigger Christmas tentpole movies this season.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of like, really? Do you think this is going to have mass appeal?
No.
I don't know. I'm confused about I'm confused about why this movie exists.
Well, it exists because they have the rights and they want to take advantage of those rights. But I don't.
But I'm just saying, thinking of the audience that, obviously they're gearing this towards a bit of a younger crowd. Mm-hmm. Because I'd say for a generation that's probably the generation behind us, mm-hmm. Born Identity is probably for a lot of them, kind of the action movie. That's what action movies are supposed to be like. Quick cuts, a lot of fighting, a lot of jujitsu, kung fu, whatever. And, yeah, what you guys are saying, if that's the audience that you're sort of gearing this towards, if those are the people you're trying to bring in, then, why? They don't know who Jack Ryan is. They don't know about those other movies.
Well, that's why you give him a facelift and... Yeah.
I don't know. This is just another... I agree with you guys. Why call it Jack Ryan? Why...
Yeah.
Why bother making it?
If you're going to do this, and come up with a better title, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of like, Robert Ludlum, who created Jason Bourne. There was a style of title that he had. Mm. Even his non-Bourne books had kind of a Ludlum-esque title, and I feel like Clancy is the same way, where there's a cadence to his titles,
mm-hmm.
and this ain't it.
Mm-mm.
And the original title was just Jack Ryan, and I'm like, geez, just call it that. That's better than this.
The Hunt for
Probably
Red Ox
Jack
Shadow
Reacher.
Recruit.
that might have been better, actually. I
wonder if they changed it because of Jack Reacher. I wonder if it was
oh, that's interesting.
Well, we just can't have Jack in the title. I don't know.
Yeah,
we got to add.
That's really funny. They would have two movies, Jack R.
Yeah,
Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan.
Same studio, too.
Jack Rabbit. They should have an animated film.
Well, the way to settle it would have been to have a Jack off and just see who won there.
Zaki Hassan.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. I'll let you guys finish the show. All right. Now, Sean keeps mentioning it, so we might as well jump into the spoiler wall here. New releases, we all saw Gravity, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I want to very briefly mention, Sean?
No, go ahead, Brian.
Wait, first, I'm just only saying this in the interest...
His Fred Armisen thing is like infecting everyone else.
I know. No, I'm only saying this in the interest of this episode being a historical document. This weekend there was something called Runner Runner. That is the last you will hear of it. Okay, continue, Zaki.
But just to that point, people are like, why is Ben Affleck doing Batman? It's because of movies like Runner Runner that Ben Affleck is doing Batman.
Yeah.
And can we all agree?
Can
the great social experiment that says that Justin Timberlake is a movie star finally end?
Yes.
I read a really good review where they were saying Justin Timberlake can flirt like no other, but he can't act. And I was like, yeah. Like when he's in movies and he's like kind of doing the flirty thing, or he's being like, hey, yeah, it's like, yeah, he's good at it, but he's not an actor.
He is not. So
yeah.
I hope we can finally get past that. Anyway, so
sorry, JT.
What are you guys hanging out later this week?
It's all good, y'all.
Anyway, okay.
So Machete kills.
Machete.
Or as normies out there would call it, Machete kills. This is the sequel to Machete, and it brings back Danny Trejo, who we heard from earlier in the episode, as his iconic character, the ex-federale who has the ability to withstand all manner of damage and inflict all kinds of damage. And I was laughing from beginning to end. I had an absolute blast. This movie is 90 minutes long, and it packs in 3 hours worth of story.
Really?
I recommend it without reservation. It is absolutely hilarious.
Wow.
It is hilarious. Okay. It is what it is. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, sure.
But
did you see Grindhouse?
I did not.
Okay. So Planet Terror, even I know they released them separately on DVD. You haven't seen Planet Terror?
I haven't seen any of the Grindhouse movies. The only thing I saw before this was the trailer, the fake trailer for Machete.
Okay.
And it goes from plot line to plot line, and just when you think you know where it's going, it just says, nope, that's actually not what the story is, and it goes off in a different direction. And then you're like, oh, I think I get it. And they're like, no. We're going in this direction. And we've got Charlie Sheen is in it as the president of the United States.
Right.
So that right there tells you something. Mel Gibson is in there, and he has this great role. It's hilarious. And it's just
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga's in it. Lady Gaga, exactly. Cuba Gooding is in it. And
really?
Yeah. Best role he's had in a while. Not that that's saying much.
Boat trip.
It's no Snow Dogs. Or Daddy Day Camp. I'm trying to think who else is in it. They got so many people. Jessica Alba.
What's her name? Who's the girl from Modern Family?
Oh, that's right. What's her name?
Vergara?
Yeah, Sofia Vergara.
Sofia Vergara, she's in it. Yeah, and Alexa Vega from the Spy Kids movies plays an assassin. And it's like Austin Powers. This thing. That's the only way to think about it. It's better. It's better than the Austin Powers sequels. Anyway, it is hilarious. And what I loved about it is that it's obviously meant by Robert Rodriguez as just tongue-in-cheek. Like, I can't even tell you the jokes because it's obviously meant as a total farce, and it's hilarious. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So it sustains. For 90 minutes of being sort of over-the-top bonkers, like it held up, you weren't...
I would say so.
I get it.
By the end, it's like, there's like a... hell, I'll say it. Like, it's like, it ends and the bad guys escape on a spaceship. And so the president shows up and he's like, Machete, if you're willing, I'm going to send you off into space. And Machete's like, okay, I'll do it. And then it has the trailer for the next Machete movie. Machete kills again in space.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, have you guys seen the first Machete movie?
I haven't.
I have not either, but if it's as fun as this one, I want to go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I had an absolute blast. So I actually, and I was surprised as anybody. I'm not saying, by the way, it's high art, but it's made with its tongue in cheek, and it accomplishes exactly what it's intended to be, which is just over the top farce.
Nice.
So very well done. On a somewhat different track, we have Gravity, the other big release that's out right now. And this is obviously, we've talked about it a couple times on this show as something where we were trying to avoid trailers and spoilers and whatnot. This is the big new release that's been 2 years in the making from Alfonso Cuaron. So I've seen it and I mentioned it already. So I'll let you guys take the floor and give me your take on it.
Sean?
I loved it. Mm-hmm. It was a friend of ours. We saw it with a group of friends and our good friend Chad. As soon as the credits start rolling at the end, first words out of his mouth are, "I'm exhausted."
Yeah.
And
I felt the same.
I thought that sums it up perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
This, from start to finish, you are, as an audience member, you are just tense the entire time. And that's not to say that this movie is tense for 90 minutes straight or 100 minutes straight, but just like there's just this uneasiness, like from the first shot, like you're just sort of drifting through space and Earth is right there and you're like, holy crap, I'm in this world. And seeing it in 3D was great. Man, like I've only seen Children of Men. I have not seen any of Alfonso, how do you pronounce his last name?
Cuaron.
Cuaron, yeah. See? I have not seen his other movies, but this, probably one of the most memorable and best films I've seen in a long, long time. Like this movie really, really, really stuck with me. And I thought what was so cool about it, aside from how it looked and everything, was because it's basically this story about, two people drifting through space. And for a movie that takes place in this sort of like never-ending vastness of outer space, it still felt very intimate and very claustrophobic and very, like, almost personal. Mm-hmm. And like I had reservations about the cast. I was worried that this film was going to suffer sort of from the Tom Cruise syndrome of like, Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, who I love them both, but I was worried with a movie like this that it would be like, oh, that's Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. But I thought that they both disappeared into their roles pretty effortlessly. Clooney obviously has sort of, his role is a little less demanding, but like he just has this sort of natural charisma and likability, and he was almost like a calming factor.
I agree with that.
To this movie, juxtaposed with her character. But like I was amazed, and I was so glad that I stayed away from everything that came after that first trailer, because, and we're gonna just chop down the spoiler wall, correct? We're busting right through it.
We're well past it now, so yeah.
Dude, there are so many things about this movie where I was just like, I had no idea it was going to be about this. And I mentioned this, actually, I wrote a review, sort of an extended review on my blog, and talking about how, and I think the three of us agree, like, we're not snobby movie elitists or anything like that, but like, we've seen a crap load of movies, and we usually have a pretty good gauge of like what a story is going to be just by watching a trailer or just sort of reading about it or just sort of hearing who's in it and who's directing it. Like, we've been around the block and we can kind of piece together before even seeing the movie. The three of us kind of know what it's going to be about or have a pretty good idea of how things are going to play out. And this movie took it, it went in different directions that I wasn't expecting, which I thought was great. And I loved the whole, metaphorical, philosophical stuff about, sort of life, death, and rebirth, like all the visual elements that went along with that. Just, from start to finish, I was blown away, honestly blown away.
Brian, what about you?
I really loved it also. I think I'm definitely glad, like Sean said, that we stayed away from things about it, because I really didn't know what this movie was about. I just knew that there was an element where this astronaut gets detached from her ship, and there's going to be sort of this scary scenario playing out, but I had no idea where the rest of the movie was going. And I mean, I even say, if it was on television, if there were commercials on television, I stayed away, and I'm really glad that I did, because there was not everything in this movie was new to me. And so, like Sean was saying, I mean, it starts out with just this routine sort of operation going on in space, and I should say now, without reservation, like you got to see this in 3D.
Oh yeah,
it's just, I mean, the theatrical thing. If I know a lot of maybe smaller cities won't have the 3D, and that's fine. It's a big screen movie. Most importantly, see this on the big screen. Let's start with that. Yeah. But if you can see it in 3D, this is what James Cameron, I think, had in mind when he was just like, oh, 3D is the future of cinema. Because this movie, the 3D it plays into the whole feel. Like this movie, for me, when I was trying to think about it when I walked out of the theater, it was it's not really even a story.
Right.
I mean, it's just this thing that happens to a person, and we follow them almost in real time as they're working their way through it. And the 3D helps you to it adds depth to what she's dealing with, to the fact that she's in space where there's just absolutely nothing around, and Earth is just way behind her.
Yeah.
And I think that just really helped with the hopelessness that we're supposed to feel for this person. And so, yeah, like I was saying, with it not being a story, I mean, that was what was sort of interesting about it. Halfway through, it sort of hit me. I was like, wow, there really isn't like a plot to this. Like, there isn't really anything I'm learning about this person. I started with her in this sort of calm scenario, and then something crazy happened, and now I'm following her as she's freaked out, as she's calming down, as she's got an opportunity to get herself out of this, as that opportunity goes away, and now she doesn't know what to do, all the way up to the way that it ends, which I guess, I don't know if we're spoiling things yet, but just with the way that it ends, I mean, it's just, like I was saying, almost in real time. And what I thought was so cool about it was the filmmaking style. I mean, when it started at the beginning and you're hovering above the Earth and she's working on the ship, the camera is just very fluid and just sort of drifty and floaty and dreamy, which is, I imagine, what they wanted me to feel for what that feels like to be adrift in space, but under control. But then when things go haywire, it gets a little crazier and you're flipping around. And then when things calm down, again, the camera calms down. And then at the ending, do we want to talk about the ending? I can wait.
Maybe not the very end.
Let's not talk about the very end yet. But the filmmaking here is just top notch. I mean, this is a guy who knows exactly what he's doing, and he conveys what he wants to convey here perfectly. It's just one of the most immersive theater-going experiences I've had in a very long time.
And you mentioned this during our discussion earlier in the week, off mic, Brian, that like everybody uses the same tools to put a movie together.
Right.
And this guy's shooting stuff with the same cameras that, like, Mick G or somebody works with. And this movie is just amazing.
Yeah. The same instruments that made I, Frankenstein who were used to make this movie. And some people just know what they're doing, know
absolutely.
How to use those tools.
And going back to the cast again, Sandra Bullock, like, it's weird. Like, she's just sort of been there, almost, like our entire movie-going lives, it feels like. Like, she's just sort of always been there. Mm-hmm. But this film, like, she impressed the hell out of me. Like, I thought that of everything I've seen of hers, like, this was by far the most, maybe mature is the right term, like the most mature performance she's ever, that I've ever seen. Because she can play funny girl, and she's had her dramatic turns in certain movies, but like this just felt like an actress, and she's won an Oscar, and she's got crap loads of money, and she's obviously has nothing to prove, but this just felt like something that, like, she was like, yes, I'm going to accept the challenge of bringing this character to life and making you feel her pain and her journey, and also making you forget that you're watching Sandra Bullock, who's like one of the most recognizable movie stars in the world. And
we were talking about this. Sean and I saw this movie together. That in the film, she has a short haircut, short hair, and as arbitrary as that seems, it really helped me.
For sure,
like it made her seem different than what I'm used to her. Like she wasn't cute, America's sweetheart Sandra Bullock. She was a different character, and it's bizarre, but it really did help.
Our friend who was with us was like, "Man, she looked old." He was like mesmerized by it. He was just like, "Man, she looks old." And I wouldn't say old in like old as in, oh wow, she looks so old, but mature or something. Yeah, more mature than we've ever seen her before.
Yeah, it's for me. And I spoke my piece about it a few weeks ago, so I won't get into it again. But I will just sort of reiterate, Brian, what you said, that you got to experience it in 3D and IMAX, ideally, if you can. I would actually go so far as to say that it's not a whole experience if you don't see it in 3D.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, too.
And actually, and I want to put this out there to you guys, I feel like this is a film that is not worth as much without that factor. Like, I don't know how well it'll play on home video.
I agree. There's something about being constantly surrounded by like floating pens and screws and things like that like even the subtleties of the 3D
and the open emptiness of space.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like this will do very well with repeat viewing in the theater, but I think that outside of the theater, it's not going to have any repeat value.
It made $55 million, by the way.
Which was a record for October.
Yeah, and I think the word of mouth is going to be great because it's 90 minutes, so it's short, and people are going to go in, they're going to watch it, and they're going to watch it again and again to have that experience because it's like a theme park ride.
Yeah,
it is.
It
is
kind of like Avatar. How Avatar was, the whole gimmick behind Avatar was like you have to see it in 3D. We're doing things with 3D that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
But like you can't watch Avatar on HBO or TNT or something like that.
Yeah. And I think it's more enjoyable than Avatar in the sense that
absolutely, 100 times.
It gives you more entertainment in less time, so that's probably a good thing.
And I want to echo what Sean said too. Just get it out there. But yeah, when we were walking out, I didn't even realize it. I think maybe it was you, Sean, that brought it up, that you felt your whole body felt tense.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of almost stiff from sitting that way. And I didn't realize it, but my whole body was tensed up.
Yeah.
The entirety of the film. It wasn't until I walked out that I relaxed.
And even during the quiet parts, like you're not Alfonso Cuaron doesn't give you an opportunity to really catch your breath.
Mm-hmm. Because there's still uncertainty going on. She hasn't solved her problem yet. So,
right. Great. Just great movie.
Well, I want to talk about a scene that I thought was really interesting. And I was unsure about, actually, while I was watching it, was the scene when she is, I think, in the Chinese station, and she gets a transmission that I believe is from an Eskimo.
Mm-hmm.
And with a baby and a dog. And so I was actually confused as to how she was communicating with this person.
Like a ham radio kind of thing?
So, I mean, like, I could talk to the space shuttle?
Well, if you happen to
tune into the right frequency,
right, and at the right time of day, at the right place, and that thing happens to be in the right orbit.
Yeah. So I mean, I bought it. Don't get me wrong. I was just sort of like, oh. And what's interesting is she's talking on the radio to a person who does not speak her language, and they're communicating. They're having a back and forth whether or not they understand what the other person is saying. And it's, for her, she's completely abandoned in nothingness. Mm-hmm. And she's getting to talk to another human voice. Or at least hear one. And what I thought it was an interesting scene. And they spend a long time on that scene for being as, I don't want to say confusing, but you don't really know what the person's saying. You don't know. They spent an interesting amount of time on it, in my opinion. And when I came home, because I had avoided so many 3D movies, I was stories and behind the scenes things about this movie. I looked up as much as I could. I saw that they actually made a short film. I guess Alfonso and his son co-wrote this movie, and the son directed a short film from the point of view of the other person on the other end with the dog and the baby.
Oh, wow.
And someone who saw both films said they got more emotional resonance out of that short film than they did with Gravity, which has me very interested.
Yeah.
I'm very, very curious because obviously there's something going on the other end that's worth seeing that plays from a whole different perspective, only getting to hear Sandra Bullock's part over a radio and seeing this other person respond to it. So I assume that will be included on home video or something.
Yeah.
One movie I want to throw out here, and I've mentioned this before, as another recommendation if you have seen Gravity, is called All Is Lost.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I really want to emphasize checking this movie out because it covers a lot of the same narrative and emotional ground as Gravity, but from a completely different point of view. And you know, it's almost like a great counterpoint where you have the same story being told in one way that fully utilizes the 3D and the dimensionality of new technology. Then you have this other film that's told very traditionally, and yet it's just as sort of immersive. You know, no pun intended, because that's set in the water, obviously. And really, like, because I feel like Gravity is going to do very well. Because, you know, the word of mouth is going to be great on it. It's just kind of a spectacle. I feel like All Is Lost is really going to get washed out to sea, if you will. I'm going to see how many water puns I can weave in here. But I really do feel like it's going to sink under the the storm of other releases that are coming out. And that would be a shame, because it is actually very much worth watching. Especially if you saw and enjoyed Gravity, because again, it's this great counterpoint, and you know, a great survival story against the elements.
Yeah.
So that's all.
One other thing I wanted to say was, and we probably all feel the same way, is that, you know, we all have gotten into the entertainment business because we're all fans of movies. We're fans of, you know, how they work, who makes them, who's in them, how they're written, you know, and we all, you know, ventured out here and, you know, took a shot at this business because we want to make movies. We're people who love movies and we want to make them. And, you know, we have a pretty good sense of story, I would say. But every now and then there's a movie that comes along that you're just like, makes you think like, God dang, like I do not deserve to be in the same room with some of these people. And that's kind of how I felt after Gravity. I was just like, this guy has vision. This director has vision. He has a sense of story. He's got an imagination. He's just got like a way of doing things that I would never think to do. So hats off to him. And we often, you know, debate like the idea if anything can ever become a classic again, because of, you know, how society works now. But like, I really hope that this is a movie that is enjoyed, you know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, because I think it deserves it.
Mm-hmm. But again, I wonder if it will be. I really, like, that's a question that I have. Like, I wonder how meaningful this film will be outside of the theatrical context.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
You know,
well, I will say this though, because I don't want to make it sound like it requires this, I don't want to call it gimmick, but just to be worthy of watching. Because I mean, it is a compelling. It's journey.
Worth watching, but
I think it's a compelling journey, certainly.
But I feel like that element of immersion is going to be lost, and I feel like that's a key element that, you know, you lose that, you do lose something substantial from the experience. Because this is a film that was made and meant to be seen in 3D. So you see it in 2D, you're losing something that the filmmaker very deliberately created it to be associated with.
Right.
That's
Zaki?
Yeah.
Zaki, did you think that the satellite breaking apart into a million pieces in orbit, did you think that was supposed to represent sperm?
I did not.
That's where I went with it.
Okay. and unfortunately, we don't have enough time to go down that particular corridor.
The whole thing.
Psyche.
You got all the rebirth sort of visual metaphors and the whole thing. You know, like with the end where she's basically learning to walk again. It's like she's born again at the end of the movie. So that's where I went with that. Flying sperm up in the stratosphere.
So
catching fire.
The original plan was to segue from Sean's sperm analogy to Brian's quiz about space movies, but Brian was so excited to have Sean back with us that he decided to forego researching and preparing for the show. So we don't have a quiz this time.
But maybe
Fred,
correct. Maybe
we do
Fred
have
Armisen
this
can explain
apology
why we don't have a quiz
from Brian Hall.
Hey, movie film listeners. Yep, this is Brian Hall. Turns out, making a space quiz for these guys to participate in and for you to listen to totally slipped my mind. So I just want to apologize. Tell you that I'll never do it again, and I hope I don't let you down like this in the future.
Now do the Fred Armisen version of the apology.
Look, I really set out to make a quiz this week, but you know how when you're trying to carry out your week and then it's just like grocery stores, you never remember what you want at grocery stores. You need to make lists, and lists are sort of like, okay, I have a cousin. Okay, I have a cousin named Marlene, and Marlene is really, really good.
Okay, I think he's going to keep going. So let's.
Boston's cold this time of year.
Alrighty, so we will hopefully have a quiz next time. And I say hopefully because it's Brian, so we just don't know. He's not what you call dependable. So we'll see what happens. I kid, Brian. Brian, I kid. Brian, where'd you go?
No, I'm good.
Okay, but we'll hopefully have that quiz next time. Yeah. In the meantime, however, I would like to ask Brian where people can find him online.
At everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I, and Comedy on Vinyl podcast, where me and host Jason Klom talk about The Simpsons.
Excellent.
On iTunes.
Yeah, I actually just saw that before we recorded, so I've got that downloaded on my phone. Looking forward to listening to that. And Sean, how about you?
You can find me at moosehub.com, which I mentioned earlier. I have posted a Gravity review. Typically, my jam of choice is to write 101-word movie reviews. Old movies, new movies, what have you. But I felt I had a lot more to say about Gravity, and it deserved a little bit more than 101 words. So check that out, please. And let's see, where else are we? There's MrBoyProductions.com, and there's Facebook.com/MovieFilmPodcast, and there's also MovieFilmPodcast.com.
Wow.
Very nice. That's
Take it away, Zaki.
The whole gamut. Well, you can find me at ZakisCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner, as well as at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews, as well as the Movie Film Podcast, appear regularly. I also want to mention, I want to throw in a plug here for a new podcast that I've started, which is called Diffused Congruence. Diffused Congruence, the American Muslim Experience. And this is a podcast I started with my good friend Pervez Ahmed, who I would like to also have join us on the Movie Film Show one of these times. But it's meant to highlight and spotlight and focus on the uniqueness and diversity of the very interesting people in the American Muslim community to kind of create a counter-narrative to the narrative that's out there right now about how all Muslims are bad guys and stuff of that nature, because we're not. We're good guys. So the first episode
They host movie podcasts.
They do on occasion. So this is that's my alter ego, is doing the Diffused Congruence podcast. The first episode dropped just a few days ago, and we interview Usama Cannon, who is the founder of a facility here in the San Francisco Bay Area called the Top Leaf Collective, and he's a pretty well-known name and face in the American Muslim community, especially among young people. So fascinating conversation about his life and his journey, and we'll be doing a new episode every month, the first Friday of every month. So please do jump over to iTunes and check that out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And I hope you guys, too, will give it a listen and let me know what you think.
Well, I'm going to be busy doing my own podcast.
Okay, then. It's called Congrued Diffusance.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian podcast. You probably never heard of it.
But I do hope you all will give that a listen and
yeah, I'm about 20 minutes into it right now. I was listening on the drive over here. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, then you definitely got to let me know what you think.
Yeah.
And, of course, you can reach us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your questions, comments, and concerns. Also, hit up iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Write us a review. Leave us a star rating. Every review helps. And we will also read all new reviews on the show and respond to them. So if you have any questions or whatnot, make that happen. This has been nice. We got the band back together. Sean, happy to have you back and happy to have your energy back. And it's just good to chat with you again.
Ditto.
So I will look forward to chatting with you guys in 2 weeks for our next episode, and hopefully the audience will look forward to hearing us in 2 weeks for our next episode. On behalf of my colleagues, Sean Coyle and Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. We will hear from you in 2 weeks.
Welcome, friends.